Hey girl, hey, it's IFBB Wellness Pro Emily Smith,
and NPC wellness competitor Elisabeth Sundin. Welcome back to the
Wellness Girlie Gang podcast.
Today, we want to chat with you all about nutrition. But first, let's give a quick recap of this past weekend's posing seminar.
This past weekend, we had a seminar at Vintage Iron from 10 a.m. until 5. God, I left so late. But it was amazing because we finally added the men's division to the seminar and we had a very good turnout. It was 3 times the size of our other posing seminars. We started off in the morning with our bikini girlies from 10 to 11, and that was a really good turnout. Met some new girls, had some girls from my team show up and some girls that have been to the posing seminars before. So that's really cool to see girls come back. And of course, new girlies show up. I did add in some new stretches, which you see in the posing seminar reel that Apollo made for us. Just some new stretches to get us warmed up because posing, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We get tight, we get sore. I can't remember who I was talking to this week, but they were like, girl, my back is so sore still from Saturday. Oh my God. I don't know if you're still sore or not.
Oh, I am. And that was my biggest thing with posing is the lower back where your butt dimples are. You have to stretch that part because girl, you were arching that thing the moment your heel hits that stage, you were arching that lower back. So it is very, very crucial to first of all practice your posing and to stretch. So I'm glad you had us stretching.
Maybe next time I'll get a bunch of foam rollers and that way we'll just do that for a little bit.
Seriously.
Yeah. Or maybe it'd be a pre-qualification. The night before you should foam roll.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But then we had our wellness girlies. Elizabeth showed up, and then since we had a handful of wellness figure and fit model, we combined those into one session and had y'all all in a line together. That was really cool to see all those divisions, and you guys really got worked. I mean, we did a lot more of traditionally Thea and I. We've done these seminars for the last 3-4 years. So this is like number 7, I think, that we've done. It's only been females. And we usually just do like the mandatories, maybe go into a little bit of transitions. And then of course, if anyone has a routine, but as we've grown and as we've learned, having girls on a lineup is really beneficial. That's what they're doing majority of the time on stage. They're in a lineup against other girls. The judges are saying face the front, face the back, or quarter turn for figure, wellness, swim, WPD and up, fit model and bikini are just front and back turns. It was also really cool to sit in on the men's session to understand how many poses they have. Men's physique only has 2, front, back. So very similar to bikini, fit model. And then you get up to classic and bodybuilding, they have like 7 to 9 poses and they have even more than we do. It was a lot. Plus think about plus transitions. That's insane.
And their individual, it could get up to what, 30 seconds or 60 seconds for their individual?
Yeah. Yep. 60 seconds for bodybuilding. So it's a pretty long time. And we get only like 10, 15 seconds as amateurs.
I know. You
Yeah.
spend all
Barely
this
anything.
time practicing, and you get that 15 seconds of fame for your individual, that is. So
So that's why the lineups are really important because that's the majority of time you're out on stage, being compared to other people, walking to the front, walking to the back, working on that walk as well is very important, and the pace of the walk. So the walk to the back is very slow, sultry, sassy. You want to be the last person landing on the line in the back. And then when you walk to the front, quick. Victoria's Secret model, very smiley energy. I want to win. Look at me. And you want to be first. But the posing seminar was amazing. I just want to thank, a lot of people, Toxic Angels, Wolfpack, Victory Speaks. We did a raffle. So one thing different with our posing seminars is I like to include some of the brands in and give back to the community with some raffle prizes. A 35-liter Wolfpack bag was given out. It was pretty cool. Toxic Angels giving $150 worth towards a suit for our future competitors. Like that was huge. They gave us 2 of those. And then thank Will at Vintage Iron for the space. and he donated day passes and coupons for some apparel. And it was just a really great day. It's a small space, so it was very intimate. We had the athlete panel, which was great and new because we had the men on the panel this time, getting their perspective. And one of the men is active duty. It was cool to hear what he did on active duty and how he managed everything. It's like, all right, what's your excuse? And they have 4 kids.
Exactly.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I didn't realize they had
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, they
Wow,
had 4. Yeah.
that's
Um,
amazing. Talk about time
and
management.
and seeing some of the couples too that were on the athlete panels, they're couples and doing it. Do you prep at the same time or do you not? It was 50-50 there with them. Brad is
Mhm.
powerlifter. One day we'll get him on the bodybuilding side. I think everyone's voted he should do classic, and he's like, if my quads can get up. I don't
Good,
think you
but
understand. Your quads are much better than the majority of, guys your size. So,
yeah, his
yeah.
quads are popping despite that quad tear. I mean, they are
Mhm.
popping.
Both quads are injured, were had surgery, so yeah.
Yeah, he looks so much better. He looks, well, first off, way better than general population, but he works for it too. Brad works hard. I
Mhm.
think he could do it.
Yeah, totally. Alright, well, I wanna thank all the girls for driving out. Elisabeth and some of y'all driving 2.5, 3 hours to get there,
Worth
to
it.
to get that education and get that feedback, get that hands-on posing, and just the community too, supporting the community, supporting girls that have never competed before, and just hyping them up, and,
Mhm.
it was just a great day.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Okay, so let's get into nutrition. All right, I want to hit on this because I have been talking with a lot of girlfriends about this recently. Meal
Mhm.
planning versus macros or macro counting. First, I want to dive into what is a meal plan and what is macro counting. I'm going to pass it on over to our coach.
Macros versus a meal plan. Macros, your coach is giving you the amount of grams of carbs, proteins, and fats that you're eating within this day. And then you choose, I mean, yes, it is your choice of what you kind of fill in with those macros. But for me, and my team, they have access to a macro guideline document that's in the content library in the app.
That's nice.
So that has a lot of education in it about what are macros, how to
Yeah.
break down your macros per meal, depending on how many meals you can or want to eat in the day. I recommend anywhere between 4 to 6. Ideally, 3 would be the minimum. If you have some sort of crazy job going on, that's all you can eat. That's fine. And then you divide that number by how many meals, right? And then that gives you the breakdown of per meal macro. You can get
Mhm.
even more into, and that's all in the document, like carb cycling, how many carbs you need pre-workout versus post-workout. Macros, it's very much on the client or the athlete or the person doing it and tracking it. You'll want to download MyFitnessPal, or we use the Kahunas app, or whatever app your coach is using. Start tracking your food. I actually had someone ask me today, how do I figure out my maintenance, macros? I'm like, well, what are you eating? I like to have people track their food at least for a week to show me what you're eating, how much you're eating, and then I'm going to base it
Smart.
actually off of that. I'm going to then make you a meal plan based off of those macros, see if you're actually eating that amount with more better whole foods. That's the key, I would say, with macros too, is that you can do the if it fits your macros, but you probably won't see
Yeah.
too much success there. I would recommend doing more food based approach. Even the 80-20 rule is great. Just eating 80% of whole foods, 20% non whole foods. That will still give you good results. I do coaching calls for this as well because I don't expect you to learn this within, a day, a week, a month. It's going to take some time. We'll review what foods you're eating. And then every check in that I get, if you're on a macro plan with me, we'll review what you're eating. And then I'll suggest, hey, maybe a little bit more veggie here, a little bit more fruit there. Or that was a really good protein choice. Maybe a little bit less fat here if you're going to have a burger later in the day.
See, this is why I like meal plan. I'm just going to talk from my own perspective.
Hmm.
And Emily follows a meal plan as well. You do, right?
Yep.
I My meal plan, what a meal plan is, your coach tells you exactly what to eat for meal 1 through 5, the amount, and what you are going to eat. Granted, I do
Mhm.
get options on carbs, veggie, protein. Well, no, she tells me what protein to eat too, but I just love knowing exactly what to eat. So I don't have to think at all. That's what I'm paying her for, is to think
Mhm.
for me. So for me, you just have to figure out what works for you. For me, I know I like the meal plan because I do not want to be tracking something in a app, try to read the label. Like I don't have time for that. Okay. Like, well, I probably do have time for that, but I just tell me what to do, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
And that's a big point, because we were gonna go into some, like, pros and cons of macro tracking versus meal plans. If you just don't have a lot of time in your day and you think a lot throughout your day with other things, and that's the last thing you wanna think about is what to eat, then a meal plan is perfect for you, because it's not to say, and yes, like a con could be it's restrictive, but if you're working with a coach, a good coach that understands nutrition and understands the psychology of people around nutrition, then they will be really specific on putting meals and food in there that you enjoy eating. You should
exactly.
want to follow this meal plan. The foods on this meal plan should be foods that you like eating, that are already in your house, that you're just used to eating, that make you feel good, that make you feel happy. That's what a good meal plan is. And if that works for you, that works for you. Uh,
And I know exactly what I need to buy at the grocery store too. With
mhm,
my meal plan, I think I mentioned this in the first podcast. I have been eating the same foods since 2022. It's just different portions, and I enjoy that. My gut enjoys it. I don't have to think at all. It provides me
mhm,
structure. And when you are in prep or even off season, having that structure and that routine in your life lowers your stress too. Not having to track it. I could go all day for the pros of a meal plan, but I mean, some of the cons of a meal plan, like you said, some people could see it as restrictive or not flexible. And when you do run out of food, you may not know what options to make for yourself. If you've run out of chicken, like what else could I have as my protein? So with the knowledge of
mhm.
knowing how to substitute is very important. But yeah, I like the restrictiveness personally.
You bring up a good point. The pros of macros is you do get a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of freedom. That also, to me, it requires a more education.
Yeah,
And
good point. Good
you
point.
have to be
Yeah.
willing to get that education, but I do think it's very important to have that understanding, because it will help you out in the long run with your meal plan. Like you said, if you do run out of food, you have that education now to say, okay, I ran out of this protein, but this protein I have at the house is equivalent if I take out peanut butter.
Point.
They're able to just plug and play with my Fitness Pal or whatever app and be able to just feel empowered to make those decisions on their own. So that's where I think it's a really good educational tool. I think it's really positive. I think everyone should learn it, because then they also understand why the meal plan is the meal plan.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I don't expect people to be perfect off the bat. Whatever you choose, if you start off with me and say, "Hey, I want to try macros," and then you're like, "This is too hard. I don't want to do this. Can I try a meal plan?" Yes, is my answer. It's always going to be yes, because yes, I want you to figure out which one's going to work best for you. And it could change depending on what's going on in your life. I did actually have another client ask me, "Hey, what would a macro plan be like if I got on that?" Because
Hmm.
she's always been on a meal plan, always been so used to that. It worked for her lifestyle. But hey, maybe she's curious to learn more, get more educated, and feel more empowered to be able to do that.
That's such a good point, Emily. Like, you really
Mhm.
do have to figure out what stage in your life would a meal plan be better and what stage in your life would a macro plan be better. So, in prep, if you, well, I feel like most people get prep brain. The closer you get to a show, the more brain fog you have. So,
Mhm.
I think a meal plan is perfect for prep because you have such little brain power to think. The last thing you want to think about is does this fit my macros? Does this fit my meal plan? So my opinion is in prep, it's better to have a meal plan. And then in the growth season or off season,
Mhm.
whichever one you're in, that would be better to play with the macros so you have a little bit more flexibility and you can educate yourself more on what works better for you to reach the numbers that your coach sets for you, your carbs, your fats, your proteins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of like what stage of the journey you're in and
Yeah.
how those different the macro plan versus the meal plan can fit in your life as far as a competitor. And then, I gave the example for like a lifestyle client. Why don't we talk a little bit about like what foods we're currently eating because we're both on meal plans. So everyone's like, "What are you eating? What do you eat in a day?"
I was
All
just
of
going
the
to ask
food
you.
noise, all of the YouTube videos and the reels about it.
Girl,
I will go
seriously.
into I have not done mine, or the reason why I haven't done it is just because, I don't want people to copy what I eat exactly to the T, because it may not work for you, and then I don't want you to be like, "Oh, I followed what she did, but it didn't work for me," right? Because well, yeah, because it's my meal plan, it's
Yeah,
not
why do you
yours.
think? Yeah.
You could get ideas from other people, that's fine, and for macro girlies, I think that's a good idea to look at what do they eat in a day and then plug in maybe those meals because, "Oh, maybe that sounds good." You can plug that in and see if it works for you, if
Mhm.
it doesn't work. But the other thing is if you have sensitivities, dietary restrictions, don't eat those things just because you see someone else eating it.
Yeah, and I'm 5'11", 5'10" and a half. I am not going to eat the same things that a 5-foot girl is eating.
Mhm.
That just doesn't make sense. So I like it when people on social media, they put what they're eating and then put a disclaimer saying, "This is for me, this works for me, my
Yes.
goals. Please do not follow what I'm eating too." It also
Yes.
depends on, are you sedentary? Are you an active person? You're not going to eat the same things at
Mhm.
all. So I was going to ask you, Emily, you are now in your growth phase, growth
Mhm.
season. Well, I guess we both are. What, but you're still on a meal plan right now, right? You're not doing macros.
Yes.
Why are you choosing to do a meal plan instead of macros?
I build
Yeah.
meal plans for a living, so I
Yeah.
don't want to build my meal plan. That is
Yeah.
just pretty simple, to be honest with you. That's why I pay the coach to do that. And
Amen.
yeah, like I'm an athlete myself and I don't want to think about it, but I do have a very responsive coach, can we put this in here, this in here, this in here? I have a craving for this, and very responsive to change. It's very much a partnership with us, and I see it the same way with my clients. If they want to add something in, then they can add something in within reason where they're at, especially off season. Like yes, again within reason. Just because you're having a craving for something, I'm not just gonna put it in. Not everyone gets that. You have to
Hmm.
be at a certain phase. But for me personally, yeah, it takes the guesswork out of it.
It does. It really does. So my meal plan, people ask me all the time, "How many calories are you eating? What are your macros?" I have no idea. Like I'm sure I could figure it out if I really put it into the Fitness Pal, or I could easily ask my coach, but I do not care and I don't want to know because it doesn't matter as long as I'm hitting my goal. But for my meal plan, I was having oatmeal for several meals and I wanted to switch to the super flavorful cream of rice that people are
Mhm.
posting, like the cookie butter. So I asked my
Mhm.
coach, what is the equivalent of like 40 grams of oatmeal? What is the equivalent to cream of rice? I'm sure I
Mhm.
could figure it out myself, but she's my coach. I'm going to ask her. She knows better than I do. So little things like that, just communicating with your coach of, I don't want to eat oatmeal anymore. I want cream of rice. What's the gram? How much am I going to eat to replace the oatmeal?
So Elizabeth, what foods are you currently eating in
Oh,
your diet?
girl.
Because I know you said that you just switched out oats for the cream of
The cream.
rice.
I have a training day meal plan and then I have a rest day meal plan and I train 4 days a week. So 4 days a week, I'm eating, well, all 7 days, I'm eating 5 meals. And the only difference is carbs and fat from the training day to the rest day. I actually have more fats on my rest day, which are great. And when I say fats, this is avocado, egg yolk, peanut butter, and oh gosh, it's humbling to know how much 10 grams of peanut butter is. Like it's tiny. It's tiny, people.
It it's tiny, and it's not that much fat.
It's not. And then so what I eat on a daily basis is chicken, spinach or cucumbers, oatmeal or cream of rice, 93.7 beef, avocado or peanut butter, egg or egg white, and sometimes I will eat rice cakes instead of my rice. But I look forward to the rice. It's not often that I will substitute. But things like, and I'm on a meal plan, so I
Mhm.
asked my coach, "Hey, I'm kind of sick of the rice. What else could I eat?" So rice cakes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're eating pretty much the same items.
The
Pretty
only thing I
much.
didn't hear you say that you eat are any fruits.
Oh,
Do you have
blueberry,
fruit?
which actually I
Is that all
just
the fruit that you have?
that's the only fruit in meal 1.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
I love my fruits. Like, that is definitely something I love in my diet. I think I have a little bit more variety in my diet than you. Yours is a little
yeah, it's restricted,
very
but I like
bland and
I like
restrictive. So we'll talk about that.
yeah.
Um,
It's
Seems a little restrictive for your off season.
cool.
I do like to know what my carbs and my macros are, and I get to see it because I'm a coach and I want to know. Also, it just helps me to know. And I have eggs, whole eggs, cream of rice. I do a yogurt. I used to not have a yogurt, but the Oikos 18-gram protein, non-fat, plain has been really good on me because I've completely removed probiotics, digestive enzymes, or any gut stuff. And it's been
Oh,
amazing. My
you
digestion is fine. It's great. We're testing out some things. So that's exciting. So I have blueberries, raspberries, blackberries all frozen, and I put that in my yogurt with some stevia in the raw and cinnamon, and it makes a froyo. It's so amazing. That is my favorite thing. And my breakfast is sweet and savory. So I have that as my
mm,
sweet. And then I have my cream of rice and my eggs that I mix together as my savory. So it's like grits and eggs.
mm.
Very, very yummy. Meal 2 is chicken, green beans, and olive oil. The only difference actually on rest days is I'll have a little bit more rice, and
Mm.
then I will have pre-workout, my English muffies. Those are the best. My girlies know if they have them in their meal plan. This is the best thing. I will say. Pre-workout, an English muffin, some honey, some
Mm.
peanut butter. That is
Oh.
fire because it's not too heavy, it's really light, it's yummy, it's warm, it's a little sweet, and then I have my protein shake. I always have protein shake, Legion, chocolate peanut butter, it's so good. Code Coach M, plug. And then I'll have my 93.7 ground beef, so similar to you, my rice. I will do green peppers. I really like green peppers and this General Tso's stir fry sauce. That is really good to me. I love that. Sometimes I'll switch out the rice for something else. I do really like potatoes. So potatoes have a little bit more volume too. If you're really extra hungry, you can do potatoes. You can do potatoes in the air fryer and use sugar-free G. Hughes ketchup.
Yeah, girl.
That's real good. So you can kind of make a burger and fry almost kind of thing if you really want with that meal. And then last meal is my shake, my apple, and I do have cream of rice in that meal as well. I have some peanut butter. But sometimes I do my English muffin at the night because
Mm.
I just crave it again. I'm just gonna have that instead of my cream of rice because for me, it's not like that's my bad food. My English muffin, right? Like it's really not that bad of a food. It is more
Mm.
processed out of everything that I eat, but that's that one thing. And if that's that one thing, then it makes me happy and I'm following my diet,
I think you're
well,
allowed.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're allowed
Yeah.
that happiness factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my meal 5, I can have either a choice of protein, which is usually chicken, or a scoop of whey protein. So I always do my Ninja Creamy for meal 5, and I look forward
Nice.
to that. I use the fudge brownie protein powder. Oh,
Mm.
I look forward to that every night. It is insanely loud, so Chris has to leave the kitchen area because it's very loud.
Oh my god.
But I look forward to that Ninja Creamy every single night. Ugh,
There should
it's
be a
like
warning on the Ninja Creamy label. Warning, this is loud. Your husband will have to leave the house.
it's very rare. I mean, the dogs are terrified of it, but
Oh my
it's the
god.
little things that make us happy, you know, like your
Yeah.
extra
Yep.
English muffin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I need my carbs, man.
yeah, girl, or the
Yeah.
peanut butter. Oh,
The peanut butter. Peanut butter's life. But then this peanut butter jar is half empty. I should put some honey in it and just make some honey butter and eat that. Yeah.
yeah,
And then we get off plan. But it's okay. It's fine.
I
It's
know.
fine. It's fine. Our last episode, we just get right back on.
Right.
We're good.
Well, here's a little tip for anyone who has zero self-control. My first prep ever in 2021, my husband had to buy a lockbox and had to
Yes.
put the peanut butter, the honey, anything that I was craving, and then he would take it out, let me get the amount that I needed, and would lock it back. And only he knows the code, and one of my girlfriends knows the code now too. I still don't know the code to this day because he has to put things in there to keep it away from out of sight, out of mind, and it's locked up, so I can't get to it.
I
So
remember when you told me that. That seriously is genius. Yep.
it
I
it
kind of made one of my own when you told me that. I wrapped up all my goodies. I put it in a cooler up on the fridge and I forgot about
yeah.
it.
See, I don't forget. I'm like, I know it's in the cooler up above on the counter.
Mhm.
So it's just
I'm
a
just gonna wait for Chris to fall asleep and then I'll just eat it. It's fine.
that's what would happen. So that's why we had to
Mhm.
buy it's just from Sam's Club, the fire safe lockbox that you use for
Yeah,
files, but we put food in it to lock it away from myself. But it
I love it.
worked, you know?
Yeah, it works. If it works, it
Yeah.
works. But okay, let's go into because I kind of touched on carb cycling a little bit with macros and the
Mhm.
guideline that I have for my clients. But carb cycling, you've done carb cycling before,
Yes.
right? Okay, so we both
Yes.
done carb cycling before and experienced it.
Yes.
I remember the first time that I experienced carb cycling, and what carb cycling is you're basically having higher carbs on your training days and lower on your rest days. Sometimes people have moderate amount of carbs for moderate days, but I've never had that. It's mostly just been high, low carb days. And typically your training days are higher. The higher days are helping to replenish the glycogen stores, improving your energy and your strength during all of these intense training sessions that we're doing. Carb cycling really helps the body become more efficient at using carbs, especially around our workouts. I felt so good when I started carb cycling. The first time I was like, what is this?
I know. I think that's kind of what I'm doing. Why? I mean, I could easily ask my coach, but my training days, I have a lot of carbs before working out and after working out.
Yep.
Whereas rest days, the carbs are sporadically spread out through all
Pretty
5
even.
meals.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
and that's the part of it too, is you want more carbs, pre-workout and post-workout than you do any other time, because that's where you are tearing your muscles and then repairing them, right? And then there's the intra workout too. Do you do an intra workout carbs
not
or
any,
anything?
not anymore, but I know some of your clients
Mhm.
do the intro.
And I do, I think I always have, to be honest with you. Um, it depends. Sometimes I don't want it. It's just me. It's like a personal preference. I don't want a ton of sugar in my body, even though, and that's just a mindset thing too. Like it's like, oh, I'm gonna get fat. Kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
Whereas I have to re-trick my brain to be like, no, these are good carbs. These are helping me during because I push really. I mean, you do too. We push really hard in our workouts, and we don't want to eat too many carbs before our workout. So that's why we have an intro workout to help us maintain our energy through our workout. That's one way to get around high carbs pre-workout. I remember I've had coaches give me 50 grams of rice or something before workout. I wanted to vomit. I'm like, this is way too much volume for me to eat.
Well, I could eat that and then immediately walk into the gym and start
There
working
you
out.
go.
So,
So,
again, everybody's different.
yep, it depends. If you're like me and you can't consume a ton before you work out, then we do an intra workout. Maybe Elizabeth, she doesn't necessarily need too much of an intra workout because she can hammer all that food in.
I can scarf it down and then walk right
Yeah.
into the gym and start working out. Yeah. It
For
doesn't bother
your
me.
pre-workout, do you have a fat source?
I do not have fat before or after working out. But before working out, I do chicken and rice. Then after working out, I do chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice. Oh my
Wow, do
god.
I sound like a bodybuilder? So, yeah, that's what is. I do not do fats before and after. Do you do fat before and
Yeah,
after?
so the fats will just help sustain the carbs because carbs are gonna burn off so quickly. Um,
I
that
do
is the
honey before. So
yeah,
that's
honey's
sugar.
nice. Honey's nice, it's an extra carb, but having that fat will help sustain the carbs. That's why you see bodybuilders backstage doing the rice cake, peanut butter, honey. The peanut butter sustain the
Mm,
carbs because those carbs are burning off so quickly. That's one thing I like to add, just a little bit, not a ton, not
yeah,
a ton. Maybe 10 grams or something like
not the
that
whole jar of
of
peanut
peanut
butter.
butter. Yeah, I do 20 grams of peanut butter, which, fits nicely in an English muffin. And then post workout, I have my beef. So it's a little higher in fat. It's
Mm,
not like, super high in fat.
yeah,
Um, but the carb cycling also could be mistaken for like free meals or refeeds. Carb
don't.
cycling is a little bit different, and that really is around your training and to help fuel your training. Free meals, cheat meals, refeeds. We'll go into how Elizabeth feels about
I have so
those.
many feelings. I I like it just like it grinds my gears when people say, "Oh, do you get a cheat day? Do you get a cheat meal?" I want to hone in on the wording, okay? I hate the word cheat. I hate it. When I was in prep, I would have refeeds, and the only difference was the amount of carbs. Like my coach gave me so many carbs for every single meal, and it was amazing. And then the next day, this was in prep, like the next day, my weight would drop. There's a purpose for the refeed. Refeed
Yes.
meaning, from my experience, having more carbs in every single meal. And I was in
Hmm.
the best mood ever. I was fun to be around. Like you feel wonderful on carbs, But um, some coaches do incorporate a cheat or free or refeed meal. Like since I'm in my off season now, I get one
Hmm.
free meal a
Hmm.
week. And I say that within reason of still hitting my protein, not going crazy with my carbs, which I have done in the past. And she's been like, what are you doing? And making sure you get the protein in that meal. You also get a free meal or a refeed meal in your
Hmm.
meal plan?
And I like to say free meal, just because
Yeah.
it's more freedom, right? It sounds a little bit more positive. Cheat just sounds nasty. Sounds like you're a cheater, like
I
it's
know.
negative. Does not sound good. The refeed terminology, I think free meal versus refeed are a little bit different
Agreed.
terminology. A free meal is what you get um, as your lifestyle client, your off season
Mm.
in prep. You don't get a free meal typically,
No, you do
unless
not.
you get a free meal. I'll give you that example in a second. The refeed is exactly what Elizabeth said. It's more carbs. You're getting more carbs and more fats typically
You're right.
because you've been depleted for so long, or you've been, so low that your progress is stalled, your weight is stalled, and we want to test some things out. So we can't just keep tanking you down and down and down and dropping your fats to basically no fats, or, your carbs to barely nothing. Like, yeah, we could try that, but you won't be very happy. You won't be very happy to be around, just like Elizabeth said, more carbs, more happiness.
Yes. Yes,
That is the
direct
motto. More
correlation.
carbs, more happiness. Yeah. More fuel, more pumps. Um you get that refeed, and in it you will have that response. So I have a girl on prep, Caitlin. Everyone knows she's hitting peak week tomorrow, peak week number 2 for bikini. So this is very exciting. And we tested out this past week since her last show, we've been testing out some high days. Because she was pretty lean for fit model. We want to fill her glutes up, make her glutes nice and full, but also keep her lean and tight for bikini. It's a very, very hard look to go for, but we have freaking nailed it. She looks
Ooh.
beautiful, at least after 2 meals today and after her workout. Like those glute ham tie-ins are popping.
That's
They're popping.
awesome.
They look so good. So for her last week, we did a few high days, and we also did a refeed. So, or a free meal. So we did refeeds or high days. So it's similar. The high days, I called it like a refeed. And then we
Mhm.
also did a free meal. She got a burger and fry. Happiness level
It's
went up.
so happy.
She got 220 grams of carbs the other day, and she was like, "My workouts are even better today," and she looks so good. Like, is
Oh
eating
gosh,
more carbs than some girls in their off season. We are going a little bit lower. We're gonna get her tighter, and then we're gonna feed her up to the show. But these last couple of weeks really just helped me to test out her look. So I was getting photos and videos from her, like after 2 meals, after 3 meals, after a workout, at the end of the day, how much water was she losing from the night to the morning, really trying to perfect this look. That's why we're using refeeds or high days and free meals for her, because and she also started with me at a good state. She was also a very lean girl, very healthy eating. She's planning to be a doctor,
oh
going to
wow.
medical school. She's a very smart girl, so she gets it. And so it's very easy for her to do this and to make these changes. We did have to make some food changes, a little bit different than fit model to bikini. And
Mm.
we can always talk about this on another podcast, but it's a little bit more intense. We are taking out some, artificial sweeteners. We're changing it up a little bit just to really hone in on this look, and she really wants to win. Yeah,
Oh, I bet
I
she
think she's
looks
gonna do it. But yeah, for off season, we wanna say enjoy the plan, make smart choices. That 80-20 rule is really what we're looking for.
yeah, and it is amazing how carbs can change your attitude and make you feel like a superwoman in the gym, you know?
Mhm,
It really is a science experiment, and that's what you're doing with your client, Caitlin, fine-tuning how you're changing her physique from a fit model look to bikini just by the foods that you're feeding her in the portions.
mhm,
It's such a fun science experiment. Ugh, that's why I love
mhm.
bodybuilding.
I know, and it's crazy that what whole foods do, right? How do you lose weight? You eat a little bit cleaner, you make better decisions, you eat whole foods. Whole
We're not
foods are your lean meats, your chickens, your shrimp, your lean ground beef. It's everything on the outside of the aisles of the grocery stores. The Go to the fresh produce, get your fruits, get your veggies, go to the butcher section, get your meats, get your fish, get your eggs, go all the way on the outsides and then go to the insides and find those carbs, the cream of rice, the rice cakes, all those other goodies, the sauces and things.
Girl, that's so true. Like, that is the map of the grocery store. And when we
Mhm.
say chicken, it's not chicken thigh or fried chicken or the drumstick, it's the chicken
Mhm.
breast. And for the beef, 93% fat, 7% whatever, or 93% lean, 7% fat, not
Mhm.
the 80-20 or 90-10, the 93-7. For ground turkey, I was doing 99% or 93.7 in the off season, but I'm now switching to the chicken. It's just easier. Just
Mhm.
throw that thing in the crock pot, bam, it cooks. But you're exactly
Yeah.
right. Like, stick to the perimeter of the grocery store. Do not walk in the aisles except for your cream of rice or rice cakes and rice. And don't be tempted by the chip aisle or um the other snack aisles.
Yeah, those would be like the last things to get. When you're building your macros, your macro plans, that's kind of how I coach my athletes to do it too, is start with your protein. All right. What meats do you want to eat and how many meals? Break that down. What do I want to eat for breakfast? Do you want eggs? Do you want bacon too? Well, it's going to be a little too much fat. Maybe we do egg whites instead of eggs, and that way you can have your bacon. Or maybe we do turkey bacon instead, which is still not the greatest. I would still say I know turkey bacon is kind of like a thing, but I don't feel like it's as high protein.
It has a lot of
Um,
sodium too, doesn't
yeah,
it?
a lot of
Yeah.
sodium. You could do a protein shake. That's another very low or lean
Mhm.
protein source that doesn't have a ton of extra fats or carbs or anything to it. And then you say, okay, what's the next thing that you like more or have more of? It's typically going to be carbs versus fats, because fats you're going to find from your meats, and fats also you can get from your carbs too. So I would then go to your carbs. Okay, what's a carb source that I would want to eat for X amount of meals, or maybe 2 meals if you don't want to do like every single meal. Maybe you like rice. Okay, rice is great. What do you want for breakfast? The English muffin, potatoes. Maybe you're doing a wrap, like a breakfast wrap. You can do a tortilla or something like that.
I feel like oatmeal holds me over a lot longer.
Mhm.
And it's just very dense. But another thing that grinds my gears is people choosing a protein bar that is basically a chocolate bar instead
Yeah.
of just having a protein shake, or put your chicken breast in a Ziploc baggie, put some sugar-free ketchup in there, and boom, done. You're getting your protein. I
Yeah.
it just that's another reason why I don't like macros is people will use a protein bar, which is basically a candy bar, and say that it fits their macros. Mm, there's a lot of extra stuff in there. A lot.
Yeah. I will admit I was the Bang and MRE bar, like protein bar, when I was a personal trainer and worked at Lululemon. I need to get something in quick, on the go. I didn't have time to like eat anything until I realized I do have time to eat things. You actually do have time. You just choose not to use your time wisely. Protein bars, yeah, I have them, the Legion ones, and I will bring them whenever we're traveling just in case. Do I
Just
usually
in
eat it?
case.
No, honestly, I don't. Um, they're they're just not the greatest quality, and yeah, they have extra crap than a protein shake. That's literally powder. You can just put the
Yes.
powder, and you can mix the powder in your oatmeal, in your cream of rice, and you can make your fancy cream of rice stuff that you don't have to pay $50 bag for.
It's so much easier. Like protein shake does
Yeah.
not take up that much space. You can put it in a water bottle or like you said, your
Mhm.
oatmeal or cream of rice. It's all about making the right choices. And
Yeah, and not forgetting your fruits and veggies. I think that's super important, and I love fruits. If you're a sweet girl, then eat your fruits. Eat your fruits. If you can't go to the bathroom, then you should probably eat, like, an apple a day. That
get those
helps me.
foods in. Yeah.
Yeah, get some fiber in you, girlfriend. And then the other thing with fiber is, like, there's a balance of fiber. I was eating oatmeal, and it was a little too high fiber with everything else I was eating, so we cut it out, and we
Mm.
just switched to cream of rice because I like my fruits and my veggies and everything. And so the balance of fiber makes sure you're not getting too much or too less, and you're kinda happy there. But that kinda goes into our topic of foods that like may cause bloating. We talked about healthy foods, whole foods, how to get those foods, but then veggies are healthy whole foods. I'm eating all of these veggies, but I have a distended stomach, I'm bloated, I'm gassy, I'm uncomfortable, things like
Oh,
that.
the
Like
asparagus.
it's
So
yeah, my pee smells. So some of the vegetables are cruciferous vegetables. Some common ones are going to be broccoli, and I know broccoli is the go-to bodybuilding. I'm doing quotes if you can't see me. Bodybuilding um,
yeah.
vegetable. It's not. I don't eat broccoli. Did I
Why?
used to eat broccoli when I first started to bodybuild? Yes. Yes, I did. A lot of it, and it was disgusting. I hated
Yes.
it.
Yes.
One way to ruin my favorite vegetable, because actually broccoli used to be my favorite vegetable growing up. I love when my mom steamed broccoli. Steamed broccoli is like my favorite thing. So that's
You're
why
a
I like steam
weird
fresh
child.
bags. I will always steam fresh bag my vegetables. It is the quick saving, easy meal prep tip. Side
It
note.
is. It's so
Yeah,
easy.
I will do that for my green beans. Not my
Me
green
too.
peppers. That's gross. It makes them soggy.
Yeah.
Some things you can't do. Asparagus, you can't do it. It's gross. It's soggy. But I've done it before in a
I've
pinch.
definitely done it in prep and you do what you gotta do.
You
So, yeah.
microwave those egg whites and
Yeah, you do
and
what
then
you gotta do
saggy asparagus.
because 'cause you're hungry, but you gotta get it
Yeah,
in.
this is what I have to eat, so I'm gonna eat it. But other so broccolis, it could upset your stomach. It could. This is not to say that this upsets everyone's stomachs, because some people may need these vegetables to help them with either their hormones or their digestion. But if you are experiencing a lot of bloat, I would take these things out: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. That was hard to say. Kale, bok choy, arugula, radishes, turnips, collard greens, watercress. And then of course, if you are allergic to anything, having an allergy to chicken, even beef, pork, sometimes if you have those allergies. I did work with a guy who was allergic to chicken and all he ate was beef all the time.
Yeah.
Um, Gluten allergies, dairy. Dairy is a big one, could really upset your stomach and distend it. And then fermented foods, like kimchi, um, even things in your fridge, like meal prep foods. If you bulk prep your food like I do, we have a Sharpie that we write on the top of the lids, the date, and make sure we date all of our foods, because I'm not going to eat anything past 5 days. 3 is around my time period of when I'm like, okay, this is probably the freshest it's going to be, and then it goes down from there. So just be careful of your meal prep foods and just smell your food before you eat it.
This is a very good 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 rule.
Yeah.
Food does not last that long in our house because, Chris also eats we ended up making our own foods, like, I make my own chicken, he makes his own chicken, beef,
Mhm.
because he kept eating my food.
Mhm.
So, but that is such a good idea to put the date on, and when I went to the NPC Women's Workshop with Thea back in January, the nutritionist that was there speaking highly suggested putting your items in glass,
Yeah. Yep.
and as soon as it cools off, putting it in the freezer and
Mhm.
then putting it in the fridge when you're going to eat it that day. That keeps the freshness, and I believe she said it keeps the nutrients the highest. She said all those things. Do I do it? No, but I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
guys to do it, so
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was Team Adams. I thought that was such a interesting seminar that they gave. Yeah, do people do it? No, I think more so she was saying to do it if you have a gut issue that they're trying to solve, because that will help with the fermented food issue. And they said either cook your food fresh every day, which you can. I work from home, so I do most of the time. I'll buy like smaller packs of chicken and then I'll only cook it when I need to cook it. But yeah, I use glass a lot, mainly for my meats. I keep my meats in a glass. To me, it looks pretty. I used to use glass all the time until they broke. They kept breaking. Yeah, glass
and
is
they're
hard
heavy.
and they're heavy. Yeah. But if you drop that, oof, because they're
Oh,
heavy, they're dense, and then you don't have your food anymore, because
exactly, yeah.
if you drop Tupperware, it doesn't break and you still have your food. So,
Mhm, mhm. The
so
glass
yeah.
does look pretty.
So yeah, you can use glass, Tupperware, whatever works best for you. But for choosing foods, especially if they cause bloat or discomfort, just we are kind of science experiments. Test out those foods. You can always remove different foods from your diet to see what it is, and try not to choose those foods that really upset and disrupt your gut, because pooping every day is normal. Not pooping every day is not normal.
And
So,
uncomfortable.
yeah. So when I have clients that say in the digestion question, "Well, yeah, it's normal." Well, what is normal? What is that? You have to describe that to me. Are you going once a day? What is the texture? What is the color? Going into all that.
You even have a chart of all the different kinds to make sure that
Oh, it's the
it's
Bristol stool chart. The Bristol stool chart is a medical chart used by doctors and medical professionals. I use that to determine what your bowel movements are like, and if you're experiencing diarrhea or constipation or anything like that. I will send them the graphic and ask, all right, what number does your poop look like? If we really need to go into that. But yeah, pooping every day is normal, and how we get there is choosing the right foods. And it's really that simple. It's what we put in our bodies. And just goes to show, peaking someone and their look, right? It's how you look. What foods you put in your body determines how you look and how you feel. choose good foods, and really whatever plan you choose, if it's going to be a macro plan or a meal plan, give yourself some time to learn it and to learn yourself and your coach to learn you, and you're going to do great. Give yourself some grace. We're not perfect. You'll just keep getting better and you'll just keep learning to make better choices. So
See you
thanks for
next time.
joining us. See you next time. Bye.